Oh, it's a fire. There had to be one when he was fired.
You ready, John?
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
Very cool.
Why is that clock wrong?
I don't know. Because Public Works hasn't got to fix it. You gotta put a work order. Okay. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for coming out to our village board meeting tonight. I know you're not here for that, but at this time, I'll call to order the regularly scheduled board meeting for the Village of Midlothian, Wednesday, February 9th, 2022, at 7 p.m. Roll call, please, Clerk Moskal.
Trustee Caveney.
Here.
Trustee Crowley.
Here.
Trustee Hilly.
Here.
Trustee Ivan. Trustee Johnson.
Here.
Trustee Kelley. Here. Mayor LaRue.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you, sir. Before we start, I'd like the moment of silence tonight to be held for Cameron Wheatley. He was a 17-year-old Bremen high school student. Suddenly passed away last night at a basketball game, away game, and just wanted to offer our condolences to the family and friends and teachers and staff. So the moment of silence tonight will be for Cameron Wheatley. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right, we got some excitement tonight. Who's first? Gabriel. All right, so at this time, we will be swearing in the appointment of Gabriel Ramirez to a full-time probationary firefighter. Gabe, you want to come forward? All the way forward.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
Gabriel Ramirez,
Having been appointed to the position
having been appointed to the position
of probationary firefighter
of probationary firefighter
in the Village of Midlothian
in the Village of Midlothian
in the County of Cook,
in the County of Cook,
aforesaid do solemnly swear
aforesaid do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States,
of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the ordinances of the Village of Midlothian,
and the ordinances of the Village of Midlothian,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and that I faithfully discharge the duties
of the position of probationary firefighter
of the position of probationary firefighter
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Who you got?
My dad.
Dad? It's okay to hurt him, there's plenty of paramedics.
I don't have my good glasses on.
Mayor.
Congratulations. One more. At this time, will Daniel Clemson step forward to be promoted to position of engineer?
Sir, raise your right hand, repeat after me. I state your name.
Daniel Clemson,
Having been appointed
having been appointed
to the position of engineer
to the position of engineer
in the fire department in the village of Midlothian
in the fire department of the village of Midlothian,
in the county of Cook,
in the county of Cook,
aforesaid do solemnly swear
aforesaid solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the state of Illinois,
the Constitution of the state of Illinois,
and the ordinances of the village of Midlothian,
and ordinances of the village of Midlothian,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and will faithfully discharge the duties
of the position of engineer
of the position of engineer
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah.
Here you go, Dad.
Yes, sir. Thank you. No autographs. Oh, jeez.
Anyone else? Anyone else want to get sworn in? You're more than welcome to stay. Juan? Good night.
Is that it is?
All right. Thanks, good night. Put my glasses back down. All right, at this time, I'll move on to public comment. Is there any public comment tonight? Jean?
Jean Bartecki. First of all, I'd like to thank Public Works for going out there and clearing up the sidewalks and stuff for the businesses. It's really very good. And thank you for all the hard work cleaning up after the snowstorm last week. Now, my question is, a couple of years ago, you contacted the county about a pothole in front of my house. The pothole is back. It shakes my whole house when we're in the back room and we hear trucks going over, and you can hear them all the way back. So I was wondering if you could reach out to them again. 15049 Pulaski.
West, or?
It's the southbound lanes. Yeah, going towards 100, yeah, southbound. But that's it. I mean, but the pothole is back again. And it's bad. So that's it.
Thank you, ma'am. Anyone else tonight? No? All right. Well, thanks for coming anyways. Again. All right, then at this time, I'll close the floor to public comment and move on to tonight's consent agenda. On tonight's consent agenda is number 1, approval of the payment of $13,620.68 to Westside Tractor to add the needed accessories to the new backhoe. Number 2, approval to execute T-Mobile water tower lease. Number 3, approval to pay invoice from O'Sullivan Reporting in the amount of $1,304.65. Number 4, approval to allow Administration Manager Jackie Harris to carry over 10 days and 3 hours of 2021 vacation time to be used by June 1st of 2022. Number 5, approval of the January 19th, 2022 committee meeting minutes. Number 6, approval of the December 2021 Fire Department monthly report. And number 7, approval of the list of bills. Is there any item any trustee would like off of tonight's consent agenda? Hearing no dissension, I'm looking for a motion to approve tonight's consent agenda as read.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please, Clerk Moscow.
Trustee Killy?
Aye.
Trustee Hilly?
Aye.
Trustee Cavaney? Trustee Cavaney?
Sorry, I had you on mute. Aye.
Trustee Crowley?
Aye.
Trustee Johnson?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you, sir. Moving on to trustee business, Trustee Johnson.
Thank you, Mayor. Before you, I have a proposal to purchase a new postage and folding machine. The current one we have was purchased in May of 2013. The lease expired in 2018, and at this point, we've been under a month-to-month lease fee. In addition, there is no maintenance or service agreements available for the current equipment. I'd also like to show the board, I have examples of the current state of the postage, to the point where Miss Jackie Harris went over to the post office today and said there would be a 50-50 chance of this being put through. So if we were mailing any time-sensitive documents from the village, we run the risk of it being returned. So it's something that we need to consider. In your packet, I included some background about the purchase, along with our recommendation. We believe that this new machine would do a couple things. We believe that through an analysis that was done for us, that our projected savings on a monthly basis would probably be $490. We also believe that with this new machine, we could take in our water bills and actually run them through in-house instead of having to use Third Millennial, and we would save money that way. I think it's a wise move, considering the machine is now 9 years old, and I think the company that we use has a governmental section, and as a result, we get very good rates because we are a governmental entity as compared to the regular private company. Does anyone have any questions? I know Dr. I almost called you Doctor. Dr. Killeley, Trustee Killeley, had asked a couple of questions regarding the machine and its capabilities, and Jackie was able to answer our questions. And I'd like to thank Jackie for putting together this proposal. So if you have any questions between myself and Jackie, we're happy to answer them.
What roughly runs through that machine on a regular basis, daily, weekly, whatever amount, number?
For postage, you mean postage itself?
Yeah.
It ranges, it depends on what actually is being put through at the beginning of the month. So if it's PD and building doing their citations, we can do anywhere from 3 to 500. It's 53 cents a piece right now, so it's all piecemeal. Unfortunately, it's kind of reached its lifespan. I tried my best to clean it, purchased some ink on the January 6th. It was at 58% life at that point, so it was not needing replacement, but the person on the phone, he stated that's probably our next best bet instead of trying to purchase a new machine. So we went that route, and it lasted, let's see.
Little more.
I installed it on, it's at 82% right now. and I replaced it on January 6th. So it's printing as you see now. It's at 58% life according to new SPS, and unfortunately we're taking a gamble. So we need a quick fix. At this point, I don't know how the village wants to treat, you know, their current, our current, I should say. If we have to be bulk mailing any time-sensitive items, someone's gonna have to walk across the street with a village credit card at this point, pay 58 cents a piece versus 53, until we can figure out whether the board is on board of purchasing a new machine. But that's kind of where we're at this point.
That's kind of where I was headed. It's coming down to the point where we actually have to walk across the street and down a block to,
Absolutely.
and then
even
pay
if
an extra.
this- And even, excuse me, even if this was working, within 2 years, we will have to replace this with the new technology and security features that US Postal Service has in place. This is extremely outdated, so in 2 years, we would be revisiting the same conversation, and not because of ink, but because of security reasons.
And those are the compliance reasons. Currently, we do budget for a monthly lease fee of $220. The proposal would go up to $490, which does sound like a lot, but this is a brand-new machine. I know the mayor is very interested in our leases having maintenance and any type of help we need. They will be there, they said, potentially within a half a day, if not, so I know that's very important to you. And the lease would be for 5 years, and at that point, we could look to see if we wanted to continue with that machine. Do we want to update the machine? But I think 9 years is a good long life for the current machine. And I do like the fact that there's the folding part, that not only can we do the stamp part, but the number of foldings can be done much quicker, and it's more automated. My understanding is that the old machine, you usually have to stand there and kind of monitor it, and this, you wouldn't have to. So I'm looking for the recommendation from the board whether or not we can proceed with purchasing, i.e. leasing.
Anyone else have any questions?
I do.
Yes, ma'am.
So I just want to clarify, the new machine would be a postage machine, it's a combo postage and folding machine?
Yes. No?
Incorrect. So there's 2 quotes. FP has just the postage machine, that's our current vendor, and the second one is Quadient. Quadient is the postage machine and a separate folding machine. So
Okay.
it's 2 different quotes. One is strictly just a postal, the other one is a combo.
Okay, so are we looking to purchase, not lease, correct?
No.
You're always going to lease the
Lease.
item. So
Oh, because
with
the recommendation says we recommend purchasing.
So with Quadient, you can purchase the folding machine, but in essence, you're gonna be leasing because the US Postal Service will always own part of the machine for the postage machine. You will
Right.
never fully own that machine.
The postage machine, right, you never
Correct.
fully own. right?
Correct. So with the Quadient quote, you would be purchasing the folding machine,
Uh-huh,
and you would be purchasing the, so to speak, not, if you don't wanna do the month-to-month lease, you can do that, but you're still gonna be stuck in a somewhat of a lease because you don't own the product outright, because of the US Postal Service having control of that particular portion of it.
yeah, that's fine, I'm in agreement with it, we need new equipment.
All right, then it sounds like you should put it on the agenda for approval, or is it on the agenda for?
It is not on for.
No,
So next week?
I brought it up for the committees, so that
Okay.
we just moved it forward to have the discussion, and if it's appropriate, next week we could vote.
Yeah,
Move
just
it forward?
put it on your agenda for approval?
Yes.
Okay. Cool. Cool
And
machine.
in the meantime, I need a game plan for doing our mailings. How do we want to proceed for the village mailings until we vote
Well,
on this?
there's only one option,
Absolutely.
so I guess that's the option.
Okay. I'll speak to Treasurer Britton then.
Okay. Anything else?
Just a couple other things. As you know, that I've been working with Trustee Caveney about our village area and increasing it. You may have noticed tonight that we have moved out a number of cabinets, and it has actually updated or expanded our ability to do things in the future. Trustee Keating and I are going to be meeting with what we're calling the furniture guy to discuss rearranging the furniture to make it more useful and meet the needs of all the departments. What I'm interested in knowing is, I know that we need to clean out the trustee area, and I know a number of the trustees have said that they no longer need the little cube for their desk, that they don't need it anymore, and I know who you are. I know trustee Ivan would like to keep his desk. I don't know about trustee Pillerly, if he would like to keep his desk.
Doctor?
Doctor?
Well, a stripped down model somehow?
That's fine, I didn't know if you wanted to get
Not
rid
the
of it.
whole white thing, but, something
Right.
that maybe had a couple drawers in it and a little top on it.
Right, and one of the drawers that we have that trustee Keating and I said was a five drawer cabinet, and each one of us would get our own individual
Right,
drawer to put
right,
things in.
Right.
We still would also like to keep a little table, with a docking station, so as the trustees needed an area to, zip off a quick email, they could do that. So
And
our next steps would be to get rid of those desks and area.
Right,
So for those of you that have a desk and there's junk in there, I say that lovingly,
right.
you can always throw it out. There's recycled bins right there, and then we'll get that taken care of. And then we can move on to the next step, which would be actually moving the furniture around.
Right.
And that's all I have tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Trustee Hilly?
Well, first of all, I wanted to thank Public Works again. As Gene eloquently stated, you guys did a great job. Every snowfall we've had, no complaints. Everybody seems to be happy. Under my business, we have two of the Roy Erickson outdoor maintenance contracts. One is the janitorial contract for the Metro Station. There's no changes from the previous contract. Is that correct, Joe? Okay. And the second is the Roy's landscaping agreement. Trustee Killey had asked that on the very bottom of the first page of the landscaping agreement, it says weekly care and maintenance of the 20 to 25 decorative planters. Was that, Don, were you talking about all those planters? You
The
asked,
boxes where the beautification committee is going to maintain, as far as the watering, that's where Roy really was needed last year. He did a great job.
okay,
That's
so,
what he's referring to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll take care of the rest of the soil and all that other stuff.
okay, all right, just so we're clear on that. And there's no difference from the previous contract either on this? Okay. So if anybody have any questions?
Trustee Hilly,
Yes.
I believe that I sent my comments to you and Joe last week.
Refresh my recollection.
Every year for the last 3 years or so, I've asked that the Roy's contract be adjusted so that it would include the rain garden, mulching the rain garden.
Okay, hold on, let me read it again.
Did you guys get if you did get my email, I'll be happy to resend it.
No.
Yeah, I got it, Kathy, and I sent it to Roy, he never responded to me, I kind of
Okay.
forgot. But usually, a lot of times the mulching is just an extra thing, as needed kind of thing. So I'll have plenty of money to budget, so we'll make sure it gets done.
It is listed in the properties to be serviced.
Yeah.
It's just not under the
Yeah,
additional.
it's not listed, exactly, it's not listed, so,
What's listed on the top, it's not listed in the additional services to specifically say remulch, rain-ready community garden. But it is listed in the properties to be serviced at the very top.
Which could possibly include mulching.
Correct.
Or, it's not mulch, right?
That's wood chips, and
Wood
and
chips.
actually, we went and got them from the county.
Right.
Forced to their garage, and we dumped them in Roy's by tomorrow.
It's not really mulch, it's just wood chips.
We'll take care of it.
Superintendent Sperry said he will take care of it.
got it.
Any other questions? Okay,
Can we put that on the consent agenda for next week?
there is no consent, but under your business.
Oh, all right, that's fine, put it under my business, sorry.
Okay, anything else?
No, that's it.
All right, I'm gonna go back to the snow removal thing. Public Works actually deserves a lot of kudos, and I absolutely agree with that. And I personally saw, we all saw, and I saw all the complaints about Pulaski and 147. It was not good. And Superintendent Sperry actually called me. It's the first time he's ever called me in the last 5 years to tell me anything about 147th and Pulaski. So I gotta say, I did reach out to our state rep, Bob Rita, and our county commissioner, Donna Miller, and they immediately responded. It was very refreshing that they got back to me right away with personal phone calls and assured me that they would do what they can, make some phone calls, and get some help out here. They then responded again later that evening to tell me or afternoon, that they were going to get trucks rerouted to Midlothian. So, it was bad. It was a bad storm. You guys did a great job, but you told me that day and the next day was tough. And you guys worked through the night, but I just had to say that our state rep and am I getting echo? Hello. Hot mic.
Just so you know, I had to go out to South Holland the next day, and it was just as bad all the way into the east neighborhoods. So it wasn't just a Midlothian thing, that was all county and state roads were horrible.
So in the day after, Commissioner Miller reached back out to me, and how did it go? We talked again, and they did she did tell me that it was much worse south and east of us, where that yard had to help or works or takes care of. So I just wanted to say that, that they were very responsive. I don't know if it showed in the actual work on the street, but I just had to say that. So I digress. Trustee Cavey,
Yes,
your turn.
okay, thank you. Okay, first item I want to just bring to the board's attention is that this year, towards the end of last year, Superintendent Weiner had discussion with Attorney Peter Murphy and Attorney Nick Valadez with regards to the village, following its ordinances with regards to business license renewal, because we had several businesses last year applying and securing their license on time. So this year, the building department did follow instructions from the attorneys and also followed the ordinance. They sent out the business license application renewals like at the end of the year. Yet secured a business license. There were multiple emails and phone calls and reminders sent to each business. We've got a handful of businesses that still do not have a 2020 business license. Those businesses will be cited. So I just wanted to let the board know in case there were any of you received any phone calls from any businesses that were upset because they got a citation. And I don't have a specific updated list to share with you because as the building department has been making these reminder phone calls and sending reminder emails, one by one, some of the businesses have come in. It takes a couple days to get the license processed and so forth, so I don't have a list. As of like 2 days ago, I want to say there were approximately 10. A couple of the businesses did apply, a couple businesses that don't have a license, they did send in their application and their money for their license. However, they have outstanding fines and fees owed to the village. So they will not get their license until their outstanding fines and fees are paid. Next item is with regards to the Knox Avenue property. This matter has been discussed in front of the board a couple of times. While researching this, the suggestion from the attorneys is rather than doing a map amendment or a text amendment to our current zoning, we would leave the zoning for these properties. We would leave the zoning for the area as is. We would leave our zoning code as is, and rather the village will just adopt an ordinance for these specific buildings that would give them legal conforming status. As you know, these 4 properties were built out as 2 flats. When you drive down the street, they don't look like 2 flats. They look like, 3 of them look like split levels, 1 of them looks like a 2-story. 2 of the lots were originally zoned, back in the day, were originally zoned for 2 flats, while the rest of the block was zoned business. It was zoned business, but no taverns. Then, when the zoning got updated at some point, the whole neighborhood was zoned R2, which is single family. So the ordinance that would be put in place would state that if there were damage caused to these buildings in excess of 50%, they could be rebuilt as 2 flat. However, they would have to be rebuilt exactly the way they are now, same footprint, same square footage, same design, and they would have to maintain the same setbacks. They could not rebuild it as a larger 2 flat. And the attorneys did recommend that this zoning, that this ordinance go before the zoning board of appeals for review, and I believe Superintendent Weiner will have it scheduled for March, for a zoning hearing in March. So that's the recommendation, how to handle these 4 buildings. Do any of the trustees have any questions?
Nope. No, we do not.
No questions?
No.
Okay, that's all I have this time.
Thank you, ma'am. Trustee Kelly.
Thank you, Mayor. We have asked the South. Configuration is subject to approval by the South Suburban Land Bank. They have their attorneys looking at that right now. This has been going on for about 10 days, and I haven't heard anything, so I don't know if they're going to give the go-ahead to approve it, or if there's just too many issues with the property. But I would like to ask for a motion to authorize the South Suburban Land Bank to acquire 14723 Pulaski by no cash bid.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Keating?
Aye.
Trustee Crowley?
Aye.
Trustee Hilly?
Aye.
Trustee Johnson?
Aye.
Trustee Killily? Aye. Motion carries. These next 3 properties, we are going to ask the land bank, we're going to add this to the intergovernmental authority agreement between us and the land bank, and we are also going to ask or authorize the land bank to acquire these properties, these 3 properties. They have no cash bid at the upcoming scavenger scale. They have to say are 143.32 to 143.50 Crawford, 4339 to 4351 West 147th Street, and 3304 West 147th Street. I'd like to make a motion to authorize the land bank to acquire these three properties and to add them to the IGA.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? Roll call, please, for council.
Trustee Kimberly?
Aye.
Trustee King?
Aye.
Trustee Crowley?
Aye.
Trustee Hilly?
Aye.
Trustee Johnson?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, I'd like to thank Trustee Kennedy for doing a lot of work on the scavenger properties that are Midlothian properties. Did a ton of work. He made it easy for me and the board to understand this, so I'd like to thank her for doing all this. And it came out, I think, to our advantage. Next item, we don't have
Let me just read what came back. The South Suburban Land Bank was notified of these properties and our desire for them to be put on the list to be acquired. They received a notice. They said if approved, they will place these properties into consideration as they strategize this week about which properties across the Southland we will bid on with the budget we have to see them through to D. They look forward to seeing us on March 2nd. Okay, sorry.
So basically, they're going to try to acquire them.
They're going to try to put them on the list to be acquired
Right.
based on the budget.
Right, because it's still got to go through discussion. Okay, fire department staffing, we talked about the SAFER grant that we are going to apply for. We're working on that diligently. I don't know if we've applied yet. Okay, we've applied yet. We have applied. And the awards will probably be made in June. But good news that the SAFER grant now pays for 100% of the wages and the benefits for the additional fire department firefighters we want to hire. And that will be for 3 years. So that's great news, and hopefully we'll get the award that we think we will. Lastly, I don't want to open up a can of worms here, but usually I do. But I looked at the ordinances for two other municipalities, or pretty big municipalities close to us, and they have a special use application. First thing they do is route it to the planning commission. That is done, I think, to facilitate that. We want to make sure that it's a proper and beneficial use for the village. I don't know if that's in the purview of the zoning commission. Zoning commission does exactly what it's supposed to, make sure it's proper zoning and any other conditions that need to be applied. It does a great job with that. But I think we're missing the boat here a little bit. I know Superintendent Weiner told me that the planning commission can make comments about this, but I think it just should be a normal procedure that the first thing that's done is to route it to the planning commission to make sure that it's a special use is a benefit to the area it is in. Especially, I'm worried about the downtown area. So I don't know if we have to discuss this now. We can bring it. We can keep on going.
Well, I believe, Attorney, to say something here.
Okay.
I think the difficulty we have, and you may go back to a few years ago when I informed the board that we have a problematic village code, and that we piecemealed over the last 70 years, certain provisions, taking some out, putting some in. I am also guilty of not scouring the entire village code to find where there might be contradictions. Apparently in 1957, the village board created the planning commission. And its responsibilities are in the nature, and I think the building superintendent using that provision, their responsibilities are in the nature of extended large plan developments to make sure that they more intricate, sophisticated questions that involve planning like that get done before it gets to the zoning board so that it can go more smoothly. Then apparently in 2007, the village board created a site plan review committee. And I only looked at it for a few minutes, but clearly it looks like the site plan review committee has certain membership, including me, and the power and duties of the site plan review committee shall make final decisions on site plan review, which is very general. So with that, I would have to say, trustee, the village code has used two different terms to describe the plan commission and the site plan committee. And so we're going to have to clarify that as to which one we are trying to apply these responsibilities to.
I think what he's trying to say in 50 words or less is that our current ordinances does not give the planning commission the authority to do special uses.
That's part of it, yes.
Is it in the zoning board, part of the ordinance for the zoning board? Does it say anything about special uses for that?
Well, it's
I
called,
think it's the village board of appeals, right?
maybe something,
Yes.
it is.
So,
But I don't think
but
that's in their purview really to say, well, you know, in the village plan, this doesn't look like it's a good use for this property. You know, that's my fear, that, you know, we're going to get, I believe we're going to get another application for a business downtown, and I don't know, if it's the zoning board's job to figure that out. Their job is to do exactly what they're doing. They do a great job, but somebody should look at it and saying, is this really where this special use should go? Is this the best use for this area?
well, the special use is based on our zoning. I don't.
Our zoning is based on a comprehensive plan,
Right.
which is 20 years old.
Right.
So if you want to make zoning decisions, what does the comprehensive plan say that we want in our village?
Just find the one that says they're responsible for special use.
Okay, the powers and duties of the zoning board of appeals. Recommendations for applications on text or map amendments, plan unit development, recommendations for special use applications, number 3. And to make recommendations to the village board on applications for variations.
Right, but you believe it should be with the planning commission before it gets to zoning. Does anyone else think that?
So I mean, I was looking at these too, and I mean, it does look like the plan commission is more geared towards plans,
Right.
and the zoning is more geared towards once the plan is developed, the zoning. So I mean, I do think our codes break it down even though it's not specific. What are the benefits and the disadvantages of both? I mean, is there what, you know, why do many other municipalities do this? Is this a better way to do, you know, is this a better way to do it? I'm not sure.
I don't know.
There's no one is really in charge of looking at, you know, here's the plan for this area. Does this business fit that plan?
Oh, okay. Now I see.
That's where, I mean, the zoning is sort of looking at that, but it isn't really looking at, okay, here's the downtown area. Is this really what we think should be in the downtown area, and is it what we want? It gives us some control about what special use, do we want that there in this downtown area?
Then should the zoning board be provided with the downtown plan or the comprehensive plan to help you make the decision on a special use?
Well, I think the planning commission. And
No one else does.
unfortunately, the plan we have right now really has been sort of change. It doesn't meet today's needs. I hate to say that, but if you're gonna let the planning commission decide that, you have to give them some sort of outline of what's going on.
I would say, so for the board is aware that the comprehensive plan that the village has done has been changed by our zoning maps so many times that I don't think that it affords the village any of the protections that normally a comprehensive plan would have under zoning laws. So legally, it's as though we have those plans, right? Comprehensive plan.
Well, and Superintendent White and I spoke about it today. It's 20 years old, so it's way outdated.
So we need a comprehensive plan.
We do.
Yes.
A new one, yes.
So can I ask Don, when you look at the two other municipalities in the South Plan, what did you like about their special use application that you feel is lacking with our planning process to decide whether a business can come into town?
And I'd like to give the trustee what our current ordinance says, the authorities and the power of the site plan review committee is. The powers and duties, the site plan review committee shall review and make final decisions on site plan review. So there's not a lot of direction there.
But isn't that done after the zoning and everything is already passed?
Before site plan review is I want to develop a subdivision. So I'm going to do this big site plan. Then a subdivision is approved, so then it would fall into R1, R2, R3, our zoning, lot sizes and everything else. I think really, Trustee Tilly here, I think real problem here as far as he may be concerned is that in our text, when we have all our tables of what's allowed and not allowed in special use, maybe that needs to be a little more explicit instead of motor vehicle repairs convenience, motor vehicle repairs like a body shop. You know, we have ours that's kind of vague and they're very general and not very specific. We've seen that here with group homes. Ours is not specific. Ours just said residences with 8 or less, which doesn't jive with what the building codes are current. So maybe that table in chapter 5 and 6 under title 11 need to be more fully addressed and more explicit, as which we've done before as a text amendment to modify those tables.
Did you get your question answered?
But that's okay.
What did you like about the other?
Well, basically, there's a, they just, the planning commission has the responsibility to say, does this work for the town, given the village plan? Now, we don't have a village plan, we probably should. I think that, having the opportunity to have the district TIFs now will hopefully get more people knocking on our door, but do we want to have the developers work on certain areas willy-nilly? Because that's really what could happen. I mean, the developer will want to build them. Or the alternative is you could just make more non-permitted uses in certain areas. But I think it's better to have the planning commission sort of steer the boat here, at least to start out with. And I think if I find the ordinances for those two villages, then the towns, and bring them to the board, I think when you look at the ordinance, you'll see how they do it differently and see if it's a better way to do it or not. So for the next meeting, I think we'll do that.
Okay.
So, Nick, just to be clear, so you're saying right now that the plan commission ordinance that we have, I mean, because reading it, it seems like it's to develop, redevelop, and bring change to the plan from time to time after that. That's kind of what it says.
Prepare and recommend to the President and Board of Trustees a plan for the development and redevelopment of the village and contiguous unincorporated territory not more than 1 1/2 miles beyond the corporate limits of the village and not included in any other municipality. The plan, when adopted by the President and Board of Trustees, shall be designated as the official plan or part thereof of the village. And
The plan may establish reasonable standards, and it may be, and from time to time, the plan commission may recommend changes in the official plan.
And I think if you look at the year that this was passed, it was in 1957. That was prior to the promulgation of comprehensive plans by municipalities. They all, after 1957, probably sometime in the 70s and the 80s, every municipality went out either to contract or had this plan created a comprehensive plan. In addition to that, the legislature provided protections to the village for their actions, gave them extra authority to do things that they normally couldn't do as long as it was pursuant to a comprehensive plan. So we did that, I think, in 2000, year 2000, was it just?
Started in 1999.
Okay.
To 2002.
Okay, at that time, we had a comprehensive plan, which the plan committee, the building superintendent under the ordinance had authority to follow, and the Board of Zoning Appeals had as their Bible to develop the village. Since that time, we have had multiple zoning amendments and map amendments that have undermined that plan, and the plan has become stale. In my opinion, it no longer affords us any authority that we did that because the comprehensive plan says we could. So I think what our ordinance now is contemplating is that the Plan Commission did those things. The way we manifested that in modern times is that we would hire out a skilled comprehensive plan firm who would interview everyone, residents, the mayor, all the trustees, and then they would produce a comprehensive plan, and that would become the plan.
So you started this.
Even right now, sir, but even right now, the special use under that ordinance, unless it's a development, it doesn't go to the plan commission. It can't. The plan commission has no authority to do anything with it. That's wrong.
Okay, you started the discussion. So you provide the information from the other towns, and then I reckon we can start thinking about finding a funding source for a new comprehensive plan.
We'll talk about that at the end. Okay, and lastly, the engineers from the Natalie Street Trail grant, they haven't been able to get the plans done yet because of some bureaucracy, I think, in a lot of instances. They didn't dot the i's and cross the t's the way the other people wanted to, so they're going to ask for an extension for another year, but it should be done by the end of this year, the plans for the Natalie Trail. And hopefully they'll be approved after the fall. And that's all I have.
Trustee Crowley.
Thank you, sir. Just a few things tonight. First on my agenda is the discussion and approval of the purchase of 6 laptops and docking stations for the police department. This is a budgeted item, and these computers are being purchased through the state purchasing agreement. I wanted to just briefly say that a couple things about this. In addition to this, we do not have our proven setup fees, which go along with this. Whenever we buy new equipment, it has to go proven, it has to be set up for the village and then installed here. The reason we don't have that yet is these computers will take 8 to 10 weeks to get in. I spoke to Julie yesterday from the fire department. They also have a new laptop. I'm also aware that there is probably going to be a purchase of a new laptop, maybe even another one of these requested by the front office. And it is more fiscally responsible to have all of them set up at one time versus piecemealing and doing 1 here, 6 here, 2 here. So we're kind of going to talk to everybody involved. We're going to wait, and as soon as we know exactly how many computers we have, we'll go to proven because they will give us a better discount for multiple sets. So at this time, I am going, does anybody have any questions? At this time, then I'd like to make a motion to approve the purchase of 6 Levino laptops and 6 docking stations for the total cost of $10,620.42.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please, Clerk Thomas.
Trustee Crawley.
Aye.
Trustee Tabey.
Aye.
Trustee Hilly.
Aye.
Trustee Johnson.
Aye.
Trustee Killily.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you, everyone. Next on my agenda, I would like to discuss, bring up for discussion and approval the flock license plate reader contract that we discussed a few weeks ago. Since the last board meeting, Attorney Valadez and Attorney Murphy have had discussions with flock, and Attorney Valadez has presented us with the final flock agreement that he says is ready to go. Correct, Attorney?
That is correct.
So there were a few changes, there were a few parts within this document. Obviously, this is a document they use for many different places that had a different name besides Village of Midlothian. So those changes were made. Did you want to go over anything else, Attorney?
It's just that the major change was that the provisions of the old flock contract contemplated that if something happened to the cameras, the village would have to pay for the replacement or just go without them. That included weather events. I felt that if they're in the business of these cameras, they know that a windstorm or lightning or whatever may burn out their cameras. It should be their responsibility to replace them at no cost to the village, and Flock agreed to do that.
Did anybody have any questions? And I'd like to make a motion.
Wait, could I ask one quick question?
Sure.
Did they agree to change the payment term from 30 to 60 days?
Yes, they did.
Thank you.
Then I'd like to make a motion to approve the contract for flock cameras.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Crawley.
Aye.
Trustee Tabey.
Aye.
Trustee Hilly.
Aye.
Trustee Johnson.
Aye.
Trustee Killily.
Aye.
Motion carries.
And
Excuse me, Trustee, will you make sure the clerk's office prepared a copy of the contract?
it's on board, actually.
It is not. So we have nothing that's on here. Oh. It is.
It is.
Printed, it's on.
Yeah, it's right here. This is the one you want, right?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, this is the final that they gave you. Okay.
Very good.
Next, just a couple other things that I have for updates this evening. We have finished the agreement, part of the agreement with Civic Plus. They have updated all of the department's information that was requested. We are moving to training for all of our departments to have individuals that will be able to update the website themselves. Department heads, I sent everybody, I copied you guys on the training for the staff. I haven't heard that anybody had a problem with the 2 days. So we will be moving forward with that training. Also, I'm going to be at the village on Friday doing a walkthrough with Proven and our printer company. Our lease for our printers and our phones expire at the end of 2022 or beginning of 2023. So I wanted to get a head start on that and start walking around and seeing. I sent an email out to the department heads asking them if they had any other needs for printer, anything else with printers and things like that. So that the clerk doesn't yell at me at the end of the year when I don't do it, I'm going to get ahead of that so that he doesn't have to be aggravated with me. Next, I had my final meeting with Proven today on all the updates for Office 365 and the final revision for all of our office products and our monthly expenditures on that will be coming out. I'll be getting it to the department heads in the next few weeks. And once that's approved, we will be changing it. We are looking at a savings of about $300 a month. So I will keep everybody up to date on that. And I think that's all I have this evening.
We'll move on to department heads. Chief Hotwagner.
I have nothing to say, sir.
Thank you, sir. Chief Delaney.
A few things tonight, sir. I have our 2021 stats. We had 29,767 calls for service, 2,371. 2,371 of them resulted in a report. 514 of them resulted in an arrest. 2,740 traffic stops. 1,402 of those resulted in a ticket being issued. 3,099 parking tickets issued, and 291 local ordinances issued. We did kind of break a record this year, not kind of a record that we do want to break, about the amount of critical incidents that we had. I do want to thank each and every one of my officers for their hard work, professionalism, and dedication during all of that, and let them know that I'm definitely proud to be the chief. We had our department meeting today. It was a great meeting, a lot of good conversations. We announced the Officer of the Year at the meeting. Won't give the name today, because in 2 weeks we'd like to do a formal thing. So hope that at the next board meeting we'll do that presentation. You might have heard it, I'm not sure. Finally,
Secret, yeah. No, can't tell anybody.
as you know, every year we participate in the torch run. We're one of the record-setting departments for amount of funds raised. We got a flag today. We raised $23,054.41, which is really good. For a department our size, and they tell us every year that's unheard of. But usually the much larger ones like State Police, Chicago, and all that, we still usually outperform every one of them, with the exception of State Police. Special thanks to, thank you to the officers that did participate in that. But a very special thanks to Officer Grillo, CSO Catugno, and Sergeant Tebow, who did the bulk of the work in setting up each event. And that's all I have.
Good job. Thank you, sir. Superintendent Weiner.
Nothing this evening?
Thank you, sir. Superintendent Sperry.
Nothing tonight, sir.
Got enough kudos?
Yeah, for sure. I'll pass them on to the guy.
Yeah, please do. Ms. Harris? Let's follow on the table.
I just have a couple of things. I did send the board an email on, it was regarding the water bills that just recently went out. So we received some voicemails on February 7th, which was Monday, and confirmed with our third-party vendor that the file that we did upload for our water billing was duplicated. So it was the clerk error. So we sent out the same bill to the same area again. So we've been fielding those calls, and overall the customers have been understanding. We have been able to get some customers who did not get the first round of the bills. As we know, the mail system has delayed some of our mail. So some people are very thankful that they got that second round. We do want to apologize to our residents for those who were affected by that duplicate billing. And the correct billing cycle did go out, so that particular area will have an extension. So as I explained in the email, for the penalty fees, so the amount of time that it took for basically us to catch this error, we're going to give that grace period for the customers to make sure that they get their payments without that penalty, since it was our error. If you have any questions, more than happy to answer those. And then the second thing I do have is the Snowman Contest that we did. There was 2 entries, and the first place winner was the Zavala family. They had a Valentine's Day themed snowman. And the second place winners were Henry Durant, and it was with his snow cant. So those both are on Facebook. I don't know if you get a chance to see those. I don't have any physical pictures here, but I will be reaching out to them tomorrow with their price to see if we can get the prices tomorrow.
Yeah, the picture of the cat in the window looking at the cat sounds hilarious.
The cat snowman, absolutely. So that was pretty clever.
Any feedback from the other towns about the live WAP or the water bill assistance?
For CETA?
Yeah.
Crestwood is not participating. There are still some that are participating, but they haven't had any paperwork or any guidance from CETA. They've been notified that maybe an application has been sent, but they haven't received any funds. So to Oak Forest, same concept. Nobody, they just got the stuff to send out their water bills, so basically I'm a bill backer. But nobody has applied to that, and they really didn't have a full understanding of the program until after I spoke with them. Again, if you aren't familiar with CEDA's program, it is assistance. However, it's all the participating municipalities that they did provide it to. They, unfortunately, if the funds run out, you don't get paid. So it's a voucher system. They tell us we'll pay, let the customer know first. We'll pay $200 on your $500 water bill. Notify us, okay, we're going to send you this money, deduct that, and then you can figure out, between you and your customer how that extra money gets paid. If the funds are depleted, they'll send you a notice saying, okay, sorry, we said we're going to pay the $200, but our funds are depleted. You'll have to reach out to your customer and see if you can get those funds to them. Yeah. So it's a lot of municipalities are on the fence. A lot of them jumped on board, but there's still no clear-cut funds. Nobody has received funds yet. So that's kind of what
So the ones that did sign up have not received the funds from CEDA to recoup the loss of. So the basis of the program is that CEDA tells the village to remove a certain amount from the bill, or remove a late charge, or remove.
Not necessarily late charge. We're in charge of,
Okay.
if we want to penalize the customer for, let's say you got $500, they're willing to pay $200. We're in charge to make sure that $300, we take care of that portion, whether we penalize them, we do a payment arrangement with them. The $200, they should not be penalized for. They're saying it's a voucher system. Hey, we'll give you the $200 to set it aside. So I don't know, we don't have anything set up in accounting. Oak Forest said the same thing. Hey, we didn't think about that. We're just thinking we're going to get our money right up for that. When in reality, it's a waiting game. You're waiting for your funds, and again, you're not guaranteed them until you get it in hand. So I don't know what the turnaround time is. It's kind of iffy. Nobody really has all of that information. When you talk to CEDA, they're like, oh yeah, it's guaranteed funds, but you're in a waiting period. It could be 3 weeks, it could be 3 months. At this point, nobody really has a good grasp on it. So I'm not sure how the village wants to proceed with that.
I had posted the information on my Facebook page some time ago, and I actually had 2 people from the village reach out to me and ask me if I knew any more about it, because they had made applications and the appointments, I guess, that you have to make, and never received a phone call back. So I'm not sure if it's even, if they're even moving forward.
Exactly, that's how the municipalities feel too. When, speaking to CEDA, they're on board right off the bat, and then communications kind of ceased. Also, I know when I spoke with him, the clerk's office, he was still kind of waiting to get something back to roll out to customers, and he said, hey, we applied, we're on board, and we got nothing.
Maybe we should wait to see how this plays out forward.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Treasurer Britton.
Nothing, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, ma'am. Attorney Valdez.
Just want to inform the board that the firefighters local union number 3148 filed exceptions for an appeal to the labor board, Illinois Labor Board, appealing the decision of the administrative law judge ruling in our favor on a matter that was an appeal from the arbitrator ruling in our favor. So I will respond to that appeal next week. That's all I have.
Thank you, sir. All right, under my business, the annual dues for South Suburban managers. I always put it on the agenda because it's a large amount. I don't feel comfortable signing it off unless the board approves it. So, is that on here for approval? It's the total is $11,361. This is the annual membership dues for South Suburban Mayors and Managers Association. And it also covers an appreciation dinner for $50 and a holiday dinner for $50. So, anyone have any questions?
Yes, Snowman is a valuable resource. They do a great job of advocating for the South Suburban area. The director is just unbelievable. The only thing that I think we could improve on is that, I don't know if anybody from the village attends the meeting by Zoom, but I do think if we could have somebody or persons attend the meeting by Zoom, I think the more you're seen and heard, the more likely you are going to be in the loop as far as, for example, we talked about the grant for village plan engineer. I think we got that before I think we got some of that last time from the RTA, TOD. But, I think they're always in the loop first for grants and other partnership opportunities. So once I get through with my rigmarole for this month with a certain business, I'm going to attend their meetings by Zoom, and it's on the Thursday of the month at 6 p.m. But I would like other people to attend it also, because more people attending is good, and I'm going to be a trustee forever, so I think we should go to a farm team.
Perfect. All right, then at this time, I'm looking for a motion to approve the annual dues for South Suburban Mayors and Mayors Association in the amount of $11,361.
I'll make the motion. I'll second.
Any other discussion? Roll call, please, Clerk Ross.
Trustee Killily. Aye. Trustee King.
Aye.
Trustee Hilly.
Aye.
Trustee Crowley.
Aye.
Trustee Johnson.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Only other thing I have, I didn't get it on the agenda, but we've discussed this before, but I got the official letter from the Midlothian Park District. On behalf of the Midlothian Park District Board of Commissioners, I have been asked to see whether the village would consider transferring Grade A Lodge property to the Midlothian Park District. As you know, the demand for Memorial Park Fields has increased each year, and with no signs of slowing down. With that, the need for additional parking has also grown. The district has always tried to limit the impact of cars in the neighborhood, but at times this has been difficult. Without Radio Lodge parking, residential streets will surely be impacted, and we would like to avoid that in any way. Memorial Park is a tremendous asset not only to the Park District, but to the village as well. It attracts teams and players from around the country who spend money in the village. Just one example would be the acquisition of the World Football Championship, which has received national press and attract over 50 teams from 12 different states across the country. We feel this will be a great opportunity to protect and enhance a community asset with no cost to the village. Please be advised that the Local Government Property Transfer Act permits the village to transfer real property to the Park District. Therefore, please accept this letter as a Park District's formal request that the village consider transferring the Radio Lodge property to the Park District. So, I just brought it up there for a brief discussion, or really, again, as we talked before, we got to make a decision. It's not going to get better. So, do we sell it, or do we transfer it to the Park District? Because, as I talked before, the whole parking issue is bad. We found a 99-year lease that most of the parking belongs to the village for another 60 years or something. If it goes back to the Park District, then there's really no parking for the Radio Lodge. We don't want to be a banquet hall runner, so
Now, are they talking about tearing down the building?
That was my question.
in off the record conversations I've had with them, that would be the way they would go. But
Mayor, I'm sorry, I didn't hear the comment from the person prior to you. The way they would want to go?
Superintendent Sperry asked if part of the deal would be they tear down the building. And in the conversations, off the record conversations I've had with them, that was something they would like to see, but weren't real sure that they would want to spend the money to do it. So I think bottom line is, the issue is we still have that 99-year lease with at least half of the parking over there. So they want us to transfer everything over to them.
If the village is and let the park district worry about taking the building down.
And then what if they don't? And it gets in more disarray and
Well,
disrepair.
but if they want to use it for parking, then we would have to transfer the property to them with the understanding that that would be, they would have to be required to do that within 12 months or 18 months. I mean, if we tried to sell the building, then, you know, there's a benefit of having the remainder of that 99-year lease on parking, because that's a leasehold interest that would go to the building. So if we sold it, whoever acquired the title to the building could also acquire the leasehold interest in parking for the next 50 years.
I guess that's possible, but they could probably also go a legal route to try to get that, because we're transferring the property. They may go a legal route to try to null and void the lease agreement.
I'd have to look at it, but from what I saw, it appeared that the language didn't have qualifications on it with regard to transferability. So if that yes, the answer is yes, that's a possibility. But from what I saw, the village is probably a good fit to transfer that to.
So am I hearing that if they agree in the transfer deal to tear down the building, the village would be willing to transfer the property?
Well, that's my take. I don't know about the rest of the board.
Well, I'm not looking at you right now. I'm looking at the rest of the board.
Oh, okay. Well, I can't see anyone.
How much would an appraisal cost?
Was it 350? Appraisal. An appraisal was about 350 something else. It was more than that, wasn't it?
Appraisal usually costs, it's a commercial building, probably in the neighborhood of $500.
I think that's a better idea. Because
Well, I think it's just.
there's value there.
Yeah.
It's a busy road. All right.
Is there value with limited parking?
Well, it could be redeveloped into a smaller footprint to add more parking. But there's got to be value there. I just think there's got to be value. So I think we need to do our fiduciary responsibility. Is that the right word for this?
Yes.
Due diligence and see what it's worth.
And I haven't looked at it lately, but there might even be a requirement in this exchange.
Well, if you could look at this act and keep that. Okay, we'll start there then. And that's all I have in my business. Clerk Constable.
I have a,
All right, I'm going to postpone the closed session that I requested for tonight. I would like the full board at the closed session to hear everything I have to say. So we will postpone that. You will be here next week?
Yes, sir.
Then I will postpone the closed session until next Wednesday, the 16th. All right. And seeing as no further business for the board, I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Meeting adjourned. Thank you all.